Welcome into On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton, your host, joined by two of the leaders of the University of Texas. Guys, welcome to the show, Kevin Eltife, Chairman of the Board of Regents of the University of Texas, and Jay Hartzell, President of the University of Texas. Thank you all for joining us. It's a special Saturday morning edition of On Texas Football. Kevin, I got to start with you. This weekend, the Longhorns are going to be celebrating a move to the SEC. You, President Hartzell, all helped orchestrate this. What are your immediate thoughts when you think of this?
I think it's incredibly exciting, Bobby. I mean, I've never seen our fan base as excited about anything as they are about this. Everywhere I go and interact with people at a game or whatever, they're beyond excited that we're moving to the SEC. And I think thanks to President Hartzell and Del Conte, this thing is, we set out to do this the right way. We said from the beginning we would honor our contract with the Big 12, which we did. We were there for another 2 or 3 years until they came to us and offered President Hartzell and Del Conte a solution for us to move out a year early, which we did. So I think I'm so proud of the way we handled it and the way we treated our exit of the Big 12. And there's nothing like the SEC. Anybody that loves college football knows SEC is probably the most exciting conference there is. And Commissioner Sankey is a class act. And I just think I'm beyond excited. I think our fans are. So I'm ready to go. Good. I'll be glad to get there.
Yeah, there you go. It happens on Sunday. It starts festivities, believe it start at 1 or 2 o'clock on Saturday or on Sunday on the South Lawn. President Hartzell, you've had a lot going on the last several months. Welcome to the show. What's the feel on campus? Of course, you guys have got a lot of stuff going on, but this move to the SEC, you're overseeing that while you're also overseeing, the day-to-day of the university. What is your feeling on this?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us on, Bobby. And, I think to echo what the chairman said, I think there's just a ton of excitement. And we've been really focusing on, what's best for our students in terms of the experiences they want. Why do students pick to go to a university like UT? And it's what I think of when I'm pitching it to students as that full college experience. And if you like athletics, if you like fine arts, obviously world-class academics in a great city. But that athletics piece is an important part of what we do, and it binds us together. It's a common ground in a time when it seems like there aren't a lot of places to find common ground. And just to take that special part and really take it to that next level. And to the chairman's point, we're moving to where I think in terms of competing on the biggest stage where we belong. And I think campus gets that. I've talked to students and they're just thrilled and excited about it. And I think it's going to just only amplify this trend we've been seeing about how we're sort of a hot school. And I don't mean in the June way, just it's a place where people more and more want to apply and want to go. And I think this is only going to further accelerate that.
You mentioned the athletic piece of this. Obviously, I think myself, as well as many others, would say that not only you two, but combined with the efforts of Chris Del Conte, have kind of elevated Texas athletics into, I would like to say, the stratosphere. I mean, 3 out of last 4 Directors' Cups have been University of Texas. Chris works for both of you, but Jay, you're the guy that he talks with day to day, probably. What are your thoughts on the job Chris Del Conte's done over the last several years?
Well, I would say from my chair, I think he's truly just the best in the business. And, I don't think there's really much doubt anymore. He won the award this year, which I couldn't believe he hadn't won a bunch of times before. And, I've gotten to know him. I knew him before back when I was in the business school, but to see how he operates, I think he's the best visionary in college sports from his chair. Probably the best salesperson I've ever seen. I think he could sell a heater to an Austinite in June, but also I think, and part of what he's done so well is to amass talent, and he gets great leaders to be in the organization. And then he does what really we've tried to do across campus, which is to empower and help those people do what they want to do. So he's special. He really is. And I think we're blessed to be around some special people on a daily basis, but even among those, I think he stands out.
That's good stuff, because I think, and I'm not trying to speak for you guys, but I feel like not only do you, Jay, but Kevin, you do, I know from talking to you and Chris, it feels to me like y'all take a very top-down uh, uh, strategic mindset. Hire the right people and then let them go do their thing. So whether that's Kevin, you hiring Jay and let Jay go do his thing, or Jay hires, and Chris goes and hires, et cetera. It feels like there's some synergy and some unison in that. And that's part of the overall strategic plan of what the University of Texas system wants to be. Would you agree with that, Mr. Eltife? Chairman
Absolutely.
Eltife, excuse me.
Well, I think I remember correctly when we first started down this path back to the day when Coach Herman was moved on. There were some critics out there saying, what is the Board of Regents chairman doing involved in this? Why is the president micromanaging the athletic director? There was a little criticism up front. And I think now people realize and Coach Schlossnagel mentioned this 3 times at his press conference about the alignment of the Board of Regents, the chair, the president, Del Conte. Del Conte's out there doing all the work, but we've got his back. And like he said, he does seek our advice and especially President Hartzell's advice. But it's important to have us all on the same page. I think that's why you see a lot of coaches moving from other schools and getting away from the controversy and the rug being pulled out from under an athletic director. I just think all being on the same page, working together, we all bring different things to the table. I think that's what's made this success and why we're getting these great coaches coming to UT. I think it's important.
I think I would agree. It's not just, the baseball coach is the latest example, but the swim and dive coach comes from Arizona State immediately after winning a national championship at Arizona State. Laura Ianello comes over in women's golf, where she's won a national championship at Arizona. I feel like it just truly feels like things are pulling in the right direction. And I think that's it. I've got to ask you both, and y'all can take this however you want to, but some of your priorities over the next, not just the next 2 days where we'll see this happen, but the next 30 to 60 days to maybe 6 months from now. What are some of the priorities you guys have for the University of Texas overall? Jay, I'll start with you and finish with Mr. Eltife.
Yeah, and I'll start at a couple of non-athletic fronts. I think the biggest opportunity that UT Austin has, I would say decades in the direction, is around what's possible now in healthcare. And with the support of Chairman Eltife and the board and the system, we announced last summer, almost a year ago now, that we're going to launch a academic medical center on the 40 acres, the old Irwin Center site. Our incredible number 1 in the world at what they do, MD Anderson system partner, is going to come to town in a way they've never done and be alongside our hospital. So you're going to get, all that they do that's so special and really done at the very best level in conjunction with what we're going to be able to do here. And I think from our standpoint, the way health is going, it's more computer focused, data, AI, robotics. It's moving in a way that the University of Texas has real deep strengths. So that's a big area of focus. The second big one is around the CHIPS Act, semiconductors, and thinking about where that's heading. And we got a incredible investment from the state last session, and we're hopeful that we'll have some good news coming out from the federal side fairly soon. And so those are 2 kind of non-athletic things that are happening over the summer. And then, of course, it's getting ready for the next student body class to be assembled and come together. And I think it's probably going to be the strongest freshman class we've ever had. We had over 73,000 applications, and it's and I joke that was that was before the playoff game. So imagine now as that buzz continues to happen, so that we can spend the summer doing some planning around those couple of big things, and then it'll be back at it with the students come, and before you know it, we'll be in Ann Arbor watching us play Michigan.
There you go. Kevin, your thoughts on big picture, University of Texas, whether the system or what have you, as you look forward?
Well, I think Jay hit one of the biggest things is the MD Anderson UT Austin partnership on the old Irwin Center. I mean, there's so many good things going on. If you think about 70,000 plus students apply every year, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, I think we can only take about 9,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about how many students want to come to Texas. You know, we have an incredible institution, one of the top premier research institutions in the country. And I think our job is to do everything we can to support our students, to make it affordable and accessible and have the student experience that President Hartzell's talking about. So athletics, as I've heard Jay say and Del Conte say, it's the front porch to the school. I mean, there's no more exciting place to be right now than the University of Texas. And that's just a fact. And, you know, I think the student experience is why so many people want to go to UT. You've got the city of Austin, as the healthcare, Dell Medical, the academic experience you get. I mean, it's the whole package. Now, our job at the system and as president is not to screw that up. We stand on the shoulders of so many people that have gone before us to create this incredible institution. Our job is to protect the brand, further the brand, and take care of our students, and just don't mess it up. That's what our goal is.
Okay, speaking of not messing it up, I got to bring in the NCAA now. Nope, because I got to be honest. I mean, it feels like, you know, the NCAA and college athletics, taking it back to sports here, it's almost like they were asleep at the wheel for decades. And it's caused, or it's been part of the cause maybe, of where athletics is today in college sports. You have NIL, you have the transfer portal, which seems to be going crazy. Jay, I'd like to get your thoughts on how the NCAA fits within the scope of college sports, and how you, as our university president, see that and make it so people understand. I mean, the common fan understands why it's important that there is still an NCAA or a governing body, at the same time as understanding they have to be patient, maybe.
Yeah, no, I thank you, Bobby. And I think, you know, you've seen this move, all these different things that you laid out are moving college athletics and sports into something that is feeling more and more to so many of us more like like pro sports, like a business, if you will. And back to something we talked about before, I mean, that's part of when we assessed the move to the SEC, part of the why was to position the university in the right spot. And then to the chairman's point, you know, we happen to have the cards lined up from the top down to make the move at the right time with an expiring media rights deal. So it kind of lined up in a way that fit with the way the world's heading. And I think the NCAA, you know, is in a tough spot. Its brand is tarnished at best. To be honest, I think, you know, you look at the last big court case that came out in the Supreme Court, and you've heard probably Chris Del Conte talk about this. You know, it was decided 9-0 against the NCAA. What else in today's world can those 9 people agree on unanimously? And that's not a good thing, right? So I think you can separate the functions of the NCAA in a few different buckets. There's the kind of enforcement and governance functions, setting some rules, trying to enforce those rules. I think that's where some of the challenges have been. You know, the stuff we're dealing with now comes through sort of an antitrust lens. Have they overstepped some sort of bounds in doing that, setting those rules? There's also a function of running championships. And, you know, we all love March Madness, and we love the chance to see different schools come together and compete at the high level. So, you know, I think the NCAA has done a very good job in many ways around the championships and the experiences there. And there have been some things that I think from a Title IX perspective that should have gone better. And I think we're continuing to see improvement there. But in the new world, we need, you know, on the one hand, we all want to win, and UT is certainly going to do our best to win with class and integrity and do it the right way. But on the other hand, you can also say as a fan, having the Wild Wild West is not the best either. And the thing I'm worried about in the long run for our student athletes is especially around the temptation to follow the next thing and the portal. And we've got to get back to, I think, the basics of we provide incredible educational opportunities for our students. Let's go back to what's best in the long run for the hundreds of athletes we have on our campus every year. And then try to maybe think about the NCAA's role and have them do what they do well and either get better at the other stuff or find some other way to deliver that kind of a function. And one last, I guess, point I'll make that I didn't fully understand until I got in the chair is just the governance of it. You've got, divisions 1, 2, and 3, all these conferences and schools, and the voting power of a Texas or even the SEC or Big 12 is pretty diluted across all those different kinds of entities. So the rules are typically made by very large structures that's kind of slow moving, and it's trying to solve almost everybody's problem, and where we don't face the same kinds of problems. And so it's, from a governance standpoint, it's a really, really tough thing to get right. But I don't think anybody would look at it today and say it is right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's hard for the University of Texas to be on the same battlefield as St. Francis or some small school. It doesn't, the Lady Liberty or Lady Justice, the sides don't come together very easily. Kevin, the idea has been out there now that they're actually going to try to create a special entity that kind of governs or allows self-governance among the top 50 or 60 schools. I think they're calling it the Power Four plus a couple other schools, what have you. You think that's the right possible move for college sports, or you're just going to sit back and watch and see what happens?
Well, I think, Bobby, Jay's already said a lot of this. Everybody, when the NIL first, started paying the players, everybody's having a fit that Texas has all this money or some of the bigger schools have all this money. We did the best we could with the hand we were dealt. And, they're starting to get a few more guidelines in. But still, I don't think it's fair for the smaller schools that you're talking about that don't have the ability to raise NIL money. And that's not good in the long run for college sports. I don't like that. I mean, we're doing what we have to do to be competitive, and we're going to deal with it. But there needs to be some form of – it has to be federal legislation. You can't do it state by state. I think Coach Saban mentioned this, as a matter of fact. I think that's been what he's talked about. You got to have some sort of federal legislation that gets a level playing field across the country. I mean, we desperately need that, in my opinion. Of course, getting anything out of the federal government's kind of, wishful thinking, but that's what you need. And until that point, the University of Texas is going to do everything we can to deal with the rules as they are now and be competitive. I mean, that's what we're going to do until something changes.
Well, guys, thank you all for joining us here on the Saturday Conversation. I think I speak for a lot of Texas fans that we feel fortunate to have you guys in the two positions that you're in. And thanks for some illuminating thoughts here. And hopefully Texas fans can take that and stew on it over the weekend and then join you on Sunday at the Welcome to the SEC party. Kevin, I know you'll be there. Jay, I bet you have some hosting to do among the big wigs. So, guys, thank you all so much. And best of luck to y'all. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining OTF. Hook up.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. And
appreciate you.
We're going to go listen to Pitbull and prep for Sunday. Right, Mr. Chairman?